Welcome to the Round Ball with Hedo, Seva and Andy Burnell. Welcome, lads.
Good to be back, brother.
How you going, boys?
Now, boys, we're all up and about today, all three of us. Seva, last night, Panthers got up in one hell of a battle, but we're off to the grand final next week.
Off to the big dance. I think it was a cracker of a game. And I just think I'd never seen something like that before from Storm. Nothing was coming off. So yeah,
Nothing
was coming off at all.
And it was tense It was tense. It was too much for me.
Yeah, it was too much. It was too much.
And Birch, your son-in-law, Dan Hooker, flies to Las Vegas on Friday, fights today, cuts weight on a plane, and gets up with the W today.
Yeah, he was fantastic, mate. The young man is a very special human, and to do what he did today, after the headaches and troubles that he's had over the past 4 weeks, with lockdown in New Zealand, and really disrupting his camp, having to train alone in his garage for the last 4 weeks, and come out and put a performance on like that was it was very clever. It was smart. Methodical and clinical, and he, he's back up there in that top 5 in the world, and it wouldn't surprise me, and it'll happen one day. He'll fight for a title because he's a special athlete and a special human, and the resilience on that man is very special. Fighting is unlike any other sport. You're living on a razor's edge, and one moment, 1 second in a fight changes the whole direction of that particular fight and of careers.
And how was the nerves? How were the nerves of a father-in-law?
Oh, mate, I've it's the worst ever. Like you watched the rugby league yesterday, and you're on the edge of your seat, and you're nervous, but fighting's a whole different ball game. And I found it easier to play, in front of 80,000 at Wembley than watch my son-in-law fight. It's nerve-wracking. You can do nothing about it, and it's a beautiful sport, but it's a dangerous sport. But it's the feeling of that win, and you know what? Besides being a fantastic young man and fighter chasing his dreams, he's a wonderful dad, and husband, and what more can a dad ask for?
100%. And congratulations to all of us from here at the Round Ball, to obviously Dan Hooker and the Panthers, and another weekend of sport next weekend, boys. So, Seva, we're on for the grand final to watch it in lockdown, and hopefully Gladys can open up something for us.
Yeah, I know. That'll be good to get together, Maybe throw the barbecue on, and hopefully she'll let us out early.
Oh, please. Right, now, boys, we're going to get stuck into the football. There's been a lot happening over the last week again, but this week we're going to touch on Sydney FC and the Western Sydney Wanderers. Now, we're going to start with Sydney FC, and Birch, we've already spoken about this fella on the show. You give him a massive rap for the Socceroos, so you lead off with Ryan Grant.
Well, I think he's I did give him a good rap the other day when he was playing for the Socceroos, and he's just missed a consistency. You know what you're going to get from Ryan Grant every game. He's one of the best players in the A-League. Is the top 1 or 2 players every single match for Sydney FC. So he'll be looking to continue his good form and consolidate that fullback spot with the Socceroos, with good performances for his club, Sydney FC, and just a side. He's the sort of player that every coach wants in a side. You need 3, 4, 5 of them. So he's going to be a very important piece of the jigsaw puzzle for Steve Corica this season.
And I think with the summer, and Seva, you'll know this, I think with summer, and I think he proved his worth when he played for the Socceroos in Asia in the heat, that the heat doesn't affect him. He just literally runs all day.
Yeah, he does, Birch? Like you said, Mr. Consistency.
Well, I think it's just his mindset.
Yeah.
His mindset, it's hot, cold, warm. It doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has a certain mindset, and he's going to bomb up and down that, that touch line all day. He's going to make his tackles. He's going to try and get on the end of things. He's going to, try and support as much as possible. And, you can be extremely fit. You can, have a fantastic motor and be rapid and have everything. But if you have a brain that doesn't want to do that has no desire to do that, you don't do it. And for me, his mindset is his number one asset, and everything else, just kind of comes to the surface from that.
And I think, for me, he's probably first picked on Corica's team sheet every week. If he's fit, I think he's the first picked on their team sheet. Now, I want to chat a little bit about Luke Bratton, Sever, before we get onto you. I think Luke Bratton, although he's at the age of 30, and we spoke last week about the sweet spot being around that 30-year-old mark, I think, especially in the grand final when he got sent off, that changed the dynamic of that game. And I just think he's the barometer of the team. If he's on, then Sydney FC are on. If he's on the ball a lot, shooting, knocking the ball and that energizer bunny that he can be, I think that's what drives Sydney FC.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Hedo. I think when Brendan O'Neill and Josh Brillante were sitting in the middle of the park with him, I think it was Bratton's first year. Those three there, they were absolutely on fire. But losing those two, O'Neill to Pohang Steelers at the time, and then Brillante going overseas.
Yeah,
I think Bratton done all he could, but I think he's at that sweet spot age of 30 now, and I do believe he's a great player. I remember playing against him 10 years ago when he was at the Raw setup, and technically he was brilliant. Little short guy, he'd go for 90 minutes. He was, he had some banter on the field as well, and he had some swagger.
Yeah, he looks like a cheeky bastard.
Yeah, he is, He is. And that's what gets a lot of players over the line, even when the chips are down. When you've got a bit of cheekiness about you, I think a bit of character and a bit of ego can get you through those not so fruitful times,
Yeah, and that sort of leads me into what you're going to talk about too. If Ryan Grant's not on, where do you think that leaves Sydney FC this year with, I guess, an aging sort of roster with their senior players extremely at the back end of 30?
Look, I'll say it pretty short and sweet. Someone needs to take the wooden spoon or thereabouts. And as much as Sydney FC have got awesome backroom staff and facilities and men behind the club running the show, I feel as though that they're probably going to do. Remember when Victory won it one year, and then the next year they just become wooden spooners, and out of the blue you've gone, wow, what happened there?
Yep.
I just don't think Sydney have got the strike power to be able to turn games when needed to be. Ninkovic is. I just don't know. I don't think he's going to fire as he used to, and a lot's going to be on Bratton's shoulders. Individually, I think he'll be able to do his personal role really, really well. Yeah. But I just don't see Sydney FC getting it together. I just don't think they have the cattle, and they've recruited like everyone else around them personally.
And Birch, you know what it's like, especially in this sort of league, that you've got to keep topping up those players. You've got to keep that side refreshed with youth, and not necessarily always youth, but some experience as well. Do you think Sydney FC are in that sweet spot again? Or as Sever said, someone does have to get it, but I'm sort of with Sever that they're on that aging side, and can they put it all together?
Look, I think, if I'm in charge of Sydney FC, that's my number one priority. Keep that side as the premier side of Australia, or as they profess to be themselves, the premier side of Australian football. Big club, they've had a lot of success in the A-League, and I'm surprised they haven't gone out and recruited better. I'm not hearing of many quality youngsters, coming through into that first 15, 16, and they're at that point in time where it needs a real big overhaul, and it needs 5 or 6 really, good young players coming through. It's missing one quality world-class marquee. Sydney, the city, the harbour, just Sydney, the iconic city that it is, needs Sydney FC to be bringing a big marquee player in every year. Who is that one? Where is he?
And Seva, I'll ask you again. Are they banking on Lafondra, Bobo, and Ninkovic this year? Are they banking on them to win them the title?
Yeah, well, it almost looks like it, doesn't it?
Yes.
But look, let's be honest. Look, age is something no one can fight. You know, um, we may be wrong, but I think Birch hit the nail on the head. Sydney, regardless whether people like it or not, it's the glamour city. You look at past marquees. No one. I think Ninkovic is still the marquee. If I'm not. Now, when was the last time a marquee has stayed at Sydney for over 3 or 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, you got your Dwight Yorks, your Del Pieros, those type.
Sometimes in world football, you see people moving on. Like for example, like a Wayne Rooney or Real Madrid. They get an absolute Galactico in. 2 years later, they're moving him on like a Robinho. You think that could be a ruthless, smart move, but Sydney FC aren't doing that. You need fresh blood. I think Birch has hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah,
I just don't look. Fondra and Bobo and these guys are at this level have
They're proven.
They're proven. I know of Lafondra, at Reading, my old club, and he was successful there. But I still think, and it's not being disrespectful to those boys. I still, I want to go to watch Sydney FC, and I want to see a marquee of the ilk of Del Piero, of Dwight York.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting when I go and watch Sydney FC.
Birch, sorry to cut in there, but with the whole revamp of the new league, the APL and that, do you think that could have been a little bit more done in terms of, helping out clubs with getting these marquees in? Like, I know there's financial times are tough, with the pandemic, but
look, I think the APL control the whole league, so they're in a position to be able to do what they want. We'll tackle that, in a topic a little bit further on in this podcast. But certainly, they have the ability, and within that whole group, there's financial backup there to bring in, higher level marquees. Whether they want to, whether they don't want to. I know what I would do if I was in charge of Sydney FC, but at the end of the day, the people that are in charge at A-League clubs at the moment. But all I'm saying is Sydney, I look at Sydney and I want to go to Sydney, and I want to go to, the stadium down there in Paddington and watch a marquee, of that I've seen on TV that has reverberated around the world. That's going to put 20,000 people, bums on seats, at the Sydney Football Stadium. That's what I think of when I want to think of Sydney.
And no doubt, Birch. What about, for example, Corica loses 1 or 2 games. Now we know there are certain coaches in the circle which are going to be circling like sharks they won't be shy to throw a few rocks his way. You know what I mean?
No, so it's the game, isn't it? All coaches are looking to step in when other coaches are sacked. For whatever reason, that's the game. I think Stevie understands that as well. But it's the coaching circle is a circus of its own. We could talk for years and years and hours and minutes, on that circus. Stevie is a bit of an iconic figure at Sydney FC. So I think he'd have to be in a fair bit of trouble, down the bottom of the league, halfway mark of the season, for them to make a pretty radical decision like that to sack a club icon. But, it's not out of the realms of possibility, and he wouldn't be the first.
And it's the day and age we live in, Sever. It's a great point. It's the day and age we live in around coaches. And you'd said it at the start of this convo that Sydney FC are a big, iconic club. If they're not doing well, someone's going to get the tap on the shoulder.
Yeah. That's it, and that's just added outside pressure, which goes from the coach, filters down to the players.
Yeah. And if the coach is stressed, that puts it straight back onto the players. Now we'll move forward onto, I guess, their main rivals in this city. I guess obviously MacArthur are involved, but Western Sydney Wanderers, gents. And I want to open the batting here a bit. And a over the last few years, and Sever, you'll know, obviously being from Western Sydney as well, and Birch, you get it from the background, that Western Sydney have seemed to have gone backwards from when they first got into the league. Yeah, they were up and about. They've won an Asian Champions League. They've been in finals. They've been up the top of the ladder. Then all of a sudden, it's just dropped, completely dropped. They've sacked coaches. Whenever they seem to have had a loss, the coach has gone. They've gone through a lot of coaches. I'm going to open the batting here with Karl Robinson, and he was handpicked from Newcastle Jets, as we're all well aware, to bring back glory days to the Wanderers. And to me, I feel he's absolutely failed. He hasn't resonated with the fans from what I can see. And I can't see why he's been given a bit more of a chance than every other coach that we've had. Do you guys... Maybe I'm on my own there, but that's how I feel. And I think if he doesn't start the season well in the first 5-10 games, I think they've got to give him his marching orders.
Look, I think they're a big Sydney club too, and if Sydney FC, we look at it as the best side or one of the two best sides in that city, then certainly, if they're the Real Madrid, Western Sydney Wanderers are the Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
So of course we can ask questions of them, and of course, we have to bring to light that, since they won that Asian Champions League, they really they've gone downhill. They've got rid of a lot of coaches. They've got rid of a lot of players. They've brought in quite average stock at the time. I've had dealings at academy level, and for a long time, there's been some really, really strange decisions and people coming through the academy. And you know what? They've brought Karl Robinson in, and it should be his job not only to get results for the first team, but set a bar that filters down right throughout the academy. Yeah. And again, they went out of their way to get him.
Yes. That's my thing, Birch. They went out of his way to get him. And what's he done since he's been there? I don't think he's done enough to warrant, where they are now.
He was over in Toronto, I believe, coaching in the MLS, and he's come here. He joined Newcastle. They've then Wanderers have taken him away from Newcastle, and that's another topic as well. But they own Newcastle, so they just moved the coach over, and it's is it unfair on Newcastle Jets supporters? Is it fair on anybody? But what is fair is that Western Sydney Wanderers, what needs to be fair is that Western Sydney Wanderers fans that pay money to go to sign up to go and watch that team this year, they want better football and better entertainment than they've been getting for the past 3, 4, 5 years. That's what Western Sydney Wanderers need to produce. Okay, they need to be challenging for the premiership. They need to be challenging for Asian Champions League. That's why they have 1 star on their shirt. Yeah. Okay, and they need to be chasing more of them. And you know what? It's football. Karl, he'll be the first to tell you that he needs to perform this year, or you're going to get shown the door.
Yeah. And Sever, you know what it's like, Western Sydney Wanderers fans, mate. It's one of the best stadiums to go and watch football now at CommBank Stadium, but even their active supporter group is trying to be silenced. Like, they don't seem like they're helping the fans at the moment,
I'll be honest with you. Ever since Popper left, I have struggled to understand the roadmap of that club. I think the fans they're unbelievable. You saw
they're
that.
Passionate. You know that.
Oh, I remember speaking to players that were traveling to Parramatta Stadium, and they feeling that 12th man.
Yeah.
Then it fizzled out, and the mystique about them just left. It was just a normal game. But I personally believe that the Western Sydney Wanderers have become the biggest recycle club in the league. Yeah. You can flip. You can wake up, turn on Twitter. Mitchell Duke's gone and come back 10 times. Dylan McGower, the captain, now he's gone. Petrados back. Western Sydney Wanderers boy this. Western Sydney Wanderers boy that. I don't know where the hell it bloody ends, to be honest. I can't make odds and ends of it. When a player comes in, I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, whatever. Like, I seriously, I don't know the roadmap. Ever since Popper left, and the new owners have come in. I have no idea. I don't even think they have an idea. I don't think that there is a dossier there, or there's no roadmap. It's just a very, very, very strange club.
Sorry, Sev, the
right,
bottom line is they're an important club in Australian football. They're an important club in the city of Sydney.
Absolutely.
And they need to be a lot better than what they have been the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
They need to, they need to bring more Western Sydney boys through that system. A lot of them leave for some reason. A lot of players leave that club, juniors.
Maybe Birch. Maybe they spot the bullshit early. Come on.
Well,
we could say that. You've dealt with it.
Well, I've dealt with it. There is, I've encountered bullshit from players that I've represented at that club. And if I was the club, they'd be the ones that I'd want to be pushing through and helping and guiding so that they run out and play for the first team. Like what's happening with the Penrith Panthers. Isn't that not the greatest thing that can happen for your area, where all those young men are coming through and they're playing for the badge, for that jersey? It's a beautiful thing, and it's a vibe, and it's a zone. It's almost like, success follows. And I don't feel that vibe. I haven't felt that vibe at the Wanderers for a long, long time. There seems to be a lot of politics there at all levels, and someone needs to fix it, and someone needs to start demanding of everybody, whether it's the first team coach, whether it's the academy staff, whether it's the under-19s, 18s coach. What are we winning? What are we producing? Are we challenging for the title every year? Because like Seva said, I remember going to Parramatta Stadium once, and I turned to my wife and I said, wow, this takes me back to Europe. I saw a game there that the Wanderers played, and man, I was like I fell in love with Australian football again.
Yeah.
And that all disappeared.
Yeah.
Where did all those supporters go? Where did the block go? What were they called? The red?
The RBB. Now we can get.
Where are they?
And we can get someone from the RBB on, and I'd be happy for one of them to come on, because I think they're trying to be silenced as well, because there's some rebels within their organisation that caused a bit of problems here and there, and the FA or whoever was controlling it, the Wanderers as well, just wanted active supporters stopped. Yeah, but like you look at things from overseas. Seva, Birch, he's both played in those big games where flares were thrown. Whatever else. There was carry on from as soon as he got on the bus till he got off the bus. That's football sometimes, yeah?
Mate, I remember, I don't know about you, Birch, I remember pulling at the back of our stadium. It was a 3-hour, we lost 1-0 away from home. We're coming back in. Mate, we couldn't get near the stadium. It took us an hour to we're 100 metres from the stadium. It took us an hour to get to the back dressing room door at 2 a.m. They had to remove the big mirror on the bus, the side mirror, remove it off the bus so they could literally get the bus door right smack to the back of that that grandstand. You couldn't even get an arm to grab one of us. We were literally just jumping through. It was bad, eh? And we were travelling well too, Birch,
Oh, man, you try playing away at Millwall. How's that for a picnic?
Mate.
And that's just part of the ride.
That's
part
football
of the
supporters,
emotion,
guys.
Part of football. I remember watching Inter Milan v Atalanta, and Seva was at the game. We both now know that we were at the game.
Listen to this, Hello. Listen to this, mate.
And the Inter fans have pulled up a young lad on a Vespa with his girlfriend.
Hey, Birch, year 2000, 2001?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Stolen the Vespa, said to the young man and his girlfriend, off you go. Okay, so off they go. They've now got possession of this Vespa. They take it up to the highest tier at the San Siro, right?
Yep, behind one of the goals.
Tier, and the tiers at the San Siro are cloud level.
Yeah.
They've lit it on fire and thrown it down. On
bullshit.
From the top tier, it's come down and landed at ground level.
Now, Hedo,
And-
I was
and every-
behind the opposite goal. I saw this live. I had no idea Birch was there too.
And it's not the behaviour that you want all the time, but there's things that happen in football. There's passion, there's culture, there's events that happen that, I think the Wanderers without the red and black block, yes,
the active supporter group, the RBB.
They're a poorer club.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
100%.
They are a poorer club and a poorer fan base because the passion is gone. And again, the day I watched them play and I watched those 10, 15, 20,000 people shouting their heart's content and singing songs all game.
Yeah, for 90 minutes, Birch. 90 minutes.
I wanted to be a Wanderer.
Yeah.
Well, hey, just a quick story. One of my I remember playing with him one of my last couple of years in the NSL. A player named Harry Karl. Do you remember him, Birch?
I don't. No
For Marconi?
Nick Karl.
No. Harry Karl. He was a St. Albans boy. Anyway, he ended up being the head RBB. And after a year or two, here's the guy, like, you wouldn't stuff with the bloke.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the RBB literally, they just banned him from all the games. Like he could not come to anything, home or away, anything. So his own club banned him. Now he used to put fear in the other team. You know what I mean? Like he was brilliant. And I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
And Sever, it's a great point. Anyone can come on this podcast at any time, and if they don't think we're telling the truth or whatever else, they're happy to come on because we'd love someone from the RBB to come on and tell us the reasons why they're not around. Because
you want Harry Karl, I'll get you Harry Karl.
Yeah, beautiful. And Birch, you spoke about the Penrith Panthers before, Sever, and they're just being themselves. They're Western Sydney lads.
Yeah,
they walk around with a boombox. They're Western Sydney through and through. Yeah, well, and I think that's what Western Sydney Wanderers are now missing.
Well, Birch said something about homegrown talent. We know MG's son Mav. He had a chance to join either Melbourne Storm or Penrith. Correct?
Yes.
Well, who did he choose? He chose
Penrith.
Hometown boy. Running out like his dad did. So that's a credit to Penrith for being able to keep him.
And the other issue is, there's names floating around now, that are boys that are going overseas that were at the Wanderers, and how did they escape?
Yes,
it does happen at times, but it happens very frequently at the Wanderers. That good talent, ends up leaving the club. Maybe they're trying to fix it now, but previously, there were coaches favouring kids.
Yes,
that weren't of the ilk or quality of some other young men there. There was a lot of politics going on, and I'm not sure if there still is. But if there is, here's my advice to Western Sydney Wanderers: fix it. Start bringing players through that are from your area, who grew up in the area, okay, that are proud to wear your colours, to go out and fight for you, to go out and fight for your fans, okay, like Penrith Panthers do.
Yeah.
That's what you want. You should be looking at the Panthers, okay? And that's a model, that's a beacon of magnificent light that you need to maybe go over and take some of your staff there and learn a little bit.
100%. I don't disagree, and Sever, I know you'll be straight onto that, yeah?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I know guys who are in the same sort of business as me, and they got 9, 10-year-old kids that will bleed for the Wanderers. Any new player comes out, they want the jersey. I've got a mate of mine, I think his son's got about 10 or 12 jerseys in 1 year. So he's spending big bucks to get his son all. He's dying to play for the Wanderers, you know what I mean? Like, the fan base is massive out there. And let's be honest, the Western Sydney is a huge demographic
catchment area.
Oh,
that club should not be out of the top 4.
No.
Every single season that the A-League is played,
if
they're out of the top 4, they're a failure.
100%. Yep. And I don't disagree. So let's move on. You've got a Garkovic, Birch, a new signing, or I think did he finish the season last year with the Wanderers, or it's basically a new signing this year? And you think he'll make some he'll give some change to the Wanderers?
Well, look, he's a good midfielder. He's a hard-working midfielder. He was certainly, over the past few years, one of the better players for the Newcastle Jets. It was a place I took him to after he'd been in Croatia for a little while. he's got a little bit of work to do. He's ambition and he aspires to become a Socceroo.
Yeah.
But there's a few boys ahead of him now. So he needs to work on his game. But what a club and what facilities to do it at, because everything is there at the Wanderers for him now.
It is.
He needs to now become that player that can become a Socceroo 6. And if he plays well enough with the Wanderers, he will get that recognition. So now, the ball is in his court. He's gone to a club. They've gone and grabbed him from a club that they own. They've grabbed him outside a transfer window.
Yeah, and this is a talking point, yeah?
They moved heaven and earth to get him there.
Yep.
Okay, so now he needs to be the Yedinak that can be, their fulcrum in there and lead them and be a leader and lead them to a championship and then gain himself, Socceroo recognition. That's something that he needs to do now, I believe.
And it's very possible, eh, Birch?
And yes, and I would, it just needs to work on a few things. But again, he's going to a club and all the facilities, everything is there to be able, for a young man to be able to then go and make that next move. The fact that he's gone out of a window,
it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Well, we've been talking about this conflict of interest and certain clubs owning other clubs, and it's like Karl Robinson, just changed clubs easy, left the Jets and went to the Wanderers. Now Stephen went out to the Jets, supposed to be for this season, but he already played for them, I believe, the Wanderers last season a bit.
Yeah, I think so.
And he transferred out of a window. So how does that work for the other clubs? So, for example, if I tomorrow want to buy a license for a Canberra A-League club, and I want to invest $50 million in a Canberra A-League club, and I want to go and acquire Stephen Ugarkovic, am I allowed to go and acquire him outside the window?
Well, I didn't think so.
Like, does the rule apply for all the other teams as well, that you can move players, out of windows, or does it have to be within the window, or what? Because I want the APL to be successful. I think it's a fantastic thing that they've all got together, but there needs to be rules, and there needs to be some sort of like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that they're opening themselves up for, for scrutiny with, and there's conflicts there that seem to me need to be clarified, and everybody needs to be on the same page, because you can't be moving people outside of windows.
Yeah, fair call.
But you can if you actually own the only, you own everything and you make the calls, and nobody says boo, because you can play everything.
We own it all.
Yeah, we'll do whatever we want. So why do you have windows then? Let's scrap them for the APL.
Yeah. No, and we're happy again. We're happy for all these topics to be spoken about by anyone. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you know what? It's not even about Stevie going to the Wanderers. Fantastic. They want to buy him. They want to pay him. They're within their cap. Whatever. That's fine. But if someone from the APL wants to come on and actually answer this question, or answer the question whenever, if I buy a Canberra A-League team, can I then go and purchase players from Melbourne City, from Western Sydney Wanderers, from Sydney FC outside of the window?
Yeah, we'll pose that question on social media as well, Birch, so we can get some clarification around that for you. Now, Seva, we're going to you're going to finish off this A-League chat with James Troisi, and his, I guess, the impact he can have for the Wanderers if he gets a preseason under his belt. Do you think he's that quality that the Wanderers, I guess, need and want? Is he the character they want? Is he, or need?
I think Troisi is I think he's a very quality player. I think if you have a look at the seasons that he's actually had, and he's actually excelled and pretty much put his name in lights, whether it be at Adelaide, Victory, it's been when those clubs have actually had good seasons themselves. You know what I mean? So in other words, being a number 10, you need everything to click around you. And at the Wanderers, I believe the only way he's not going to play well or have a good season is if the club doesn't do well as a whole. Not saying it relies on your number 10, but you need to have a strong, because defense wins competitions. If you got a leaky defense, goals change games, goals change emotions. So I think if he's got a strong defense, that's when you can start. Your number 10 can start, cheating and start doing things where you put the other team on the back foot. I think when he was at Adelaide, he absolutely ripped it. Melbourne Victory well. I think, I think. Look, if the team's going well and sitting second, third, I think he'll be firing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't think he can do it on his own. No, number 10 can, because it comes down to having a good defense, having good players around you, everyone doing their right jobs. I think he's a perfect player for them, but like Birch has been saying before, the club needs to get it right off the field, get the right people on it, and the club can be absolutely anything. And I think James Troisi can be the same.
Look, I'm expecting big things from the Wanderers this year. I can sense a bit of a change in the air. There's a lot more talk around the Wanderers than there has been for a few years. And yes, we've gone pretty hard on them, but we're going hard on them because, like, Penrith Panthers are doing well. Hey?
I think they deserve it.
Yes.
They deserve for us to go a bit hard, considering how big they are.
And the catchment area, like Birch said, he said, top 4 or bust every year, for the catchment area we have.
No, the catchment area and the facilities and the talent that you can get, and, I just, like I said, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Guys, get a squad of staff together and go and watch Ivan and his crew work for a little while and
100%.
And see how they function and see how they empower young kids and young men that want to play for the area, the region, the west of Sydney.
Yeah.
And that's where your answers lie, and don't knock rugby league, as this bogan sport. We need to, we love football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. Okay. But sometimes you can't go anywhere and you can't get better if you don't acknowledge excellence. You know, what the Panthers are doing is excellence.
Yeah.
What NFL teams do is excellence. So what English teams and Spanish teams and Italian, Serie A football teams do is excellence. So start, opening your eyes and listening, to other people that bring excellence to the table, and then put it back into your club and make it an excellent club.
Yeah, Seva, you're expecting big things too. I know we'll finish off with this. You're expecting them top 4 or bust as well, yeah?
I am. And just to touch on something that Birch said as well, I was one of those people that used to think bogan sport, sports science, they're just, how can a front rower weighing 130 kilos be skilled? But the last 2-3 years, I've really, really gotten into the game of rugby league, NRL, and I think we could take a massive leaf out of the Penrith Panthers book, even like the sports psychology behind it. It's not just rocking up the training every day. Like, these guys have got a coaching staff of 18, 20 people. Like, they're life managing players, And
it's the way of the world.
Here's an example, and it's not so much, whether the St. George Rugby League Club has been successful or not over the last few years or whatever, but, these are clubs that, you look at the NRL in Australia, it's the world's premier rugby league
correct
organisation, correct?
Yeah.
Competition. When I was with Beckham in Madrid, St. George sent over a delegation, Barnhill, McGregor, Brownie, CEO Dowsty, to look at what Real Madrid were doing.
Yeah, right.
Even though we're crossing codes, it didn't matter.
I think it doesn't. Crossing codes is because at the end of the day, it's
systems.
It's systems. It's understanding athletes within organizations, how to empower athletes. These people wanted to know what buttons you got to push to make Zidane and Ronaldo fire. And
the psychology behind it all.
These are NRL teams. 2003, 18 years ago?
Yeah.
So, I'm not surprised what the Panthers are doing. These are professional, organizations that go and study NFL teams, that study, world-class football teams. And it just kind of seems to me that not just the Wanderers, but all A-League teams, it seems like we're an A-League team and we know everything.
Yeah.
No, you don't. That's why you're an A-League team.
Yeah.
No, seriously, you're an A-League team, okay, and you need to get better and keep improving and learning from better people and from greater clubs and countries that have achieved excellence in football.
Mate, I'd love to know if there was a bridge between the Western Sydney Wanderers and the Panthers. I'd love to know that, eh?
Yeah.
If not, I'd love to see something get created.
Something, yeah. And especially with it being opposite, summer, winter sports now. It's not, they're not leaking on anyone's territory. Like, it's played at different parts of the year now,
I'll tell you what, if I was a player at the Wanderers, I'd be going and watching their training sessions just to see how top athletes, literally how they go about their stuff.
Yeah. Now, boys, talk about trailblazing. We've got trailblazer. We've had a referee overnight, Jared Gillett, referee his first EPL game. Now, whatever we think of referees are referees, but he's done really well in my eyes to get to the Premier League in England and referee a game. What are your thoughts, lads?
That's enough of referees. Let's move on.
I think Sever likes them less than me, but look,
I know we don't give referees the credit, but boys, in the end, the game doesn't happen without the referees, right? So it's a pretty, it is a big thing to be able to referee a Premier League game.
Oh, look, without them, Hedo, I wouldn't have the record at Reading of seven reds and 26 yellow cards in like 6-7 seasons. So they're a necessity, mate. But
necessary evil, right?
Yeah, but look, he's a pioneer. He's a trailblazer. He's an Aussie, the first one to go over and do it. In England. So all credit. Because firsts can never be beaten.
Yeah.
Things that people do first, trailblazers, pioneering things. He has my full respect, and he deserves the respect of all the Australian football community.
Well, I'll tell you what, he didn't waste time, Sever. He's the former A-League referee, handed out 7 yellow cards across the 90 minutes, denies Watford a late winner in the 87th minute from VAR, calling him offside. So he certainly dug his heels in early.
Yeah, it looks like he's tried to stamp his authority. Yeah, he's there to stay. Definitely. Yeah. And Birch will know everything about first as being a pioneer and a trailblazer himself, So massive respect.
It's respect and it's an achievement. And, he has attacked it, with courage and being fearless, and making decisions on world global stages. And, Europe, in terms of football, the EPL, the Championship, the Italy, Spain. There's a lot of eyes on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of media on you. There's a lot of radio stations on you, TV stations.
And they want you to make a mistake.
Oh my God, they feed on it.
Yeah.
And, you know what? But he seems to have made some fantastic decisions. The disallowed goal, which was backed up by VAR, is again, another tick. So, again, you're as good as your last game. Get yourself in an ice bath, young man, and get ready for the next one.
That would have been a massive shock to him, eh? Pretty much, it's just like imagine playing a game in the A-League and then going to play for Man U. Like, it'll just be like on steroids, eh? Everything, the whole.
Oh, look, I think it's just it either works two ways. People either freeze and can't handle that pressure, or some people like playing in front of 30, 40, 50,000 people, 60,000 people, and actually grow and actually feel comfortable in life. Some people, I had a teammate at Reading, Manchester United are coming to town. He gets told the Man United bus is a kilometre away from our ground. He goes to water. He doesn't want to get. He doesn't want the ball. Doesn't want to play. Doesn't want the ball. And all week during training, he's the best player on the planet. Can do everything. Man United are in town. He's hiding behind Roy Keane when I want to give him the ball.
Yeah.
Well, so he's a
Think of some
pioneer,
moments.
Jared. He's a pioneer, Jared Gillett. So from everyone at the round ball, mate, it's a massive achievement, and you seem to have done whatever every referees do and hand out yellow cards when you can. So from everyone at the round ball, mate, well done. Now, boys, I want to ask you, and Birch, I'm going to lead off with you. I've got written down in my show notes today, which I don't like writing down, but we're going to talk about it, is Celtics Struggles. Early on when we started the first few episodes of this, Celtic were on top of the ground, and, you know, Ange was getting all the plaudits, and he did deserve them, right? They've had a few hiccups over the time, and dead set, the Wolves are coming for him, aren't they? The media are coming for him. They're absolutely into him. And we've gone through his squad, and how many more players does he have to sign for it to be his squad, Birch?
Well, I'm an Ange fan. You know, I think what he's achieved, has to be respected. But now he's on a new challenge, and it's a challenge where if you're at Celtic or Rangers, one of them finished second, and the one that finishes second has failed.
Mm.
Yep. So, you know, he now has gone in, and he's, his first mission was to, bring in players that are Ange players, keep players that buy into Ange's football philosophy. And unless I'm mistaken, 7 or 8 have come in.
Yep.
And, if I look at the whole squad, if I looked at his best 22 players, everyone is an international at senior A level or an under 21 international for a multitude of countries around Europe, the United Kingdom, and with Tommy for the Socceroos. Yep. And Kyogo for Japan.
Yep.
So you've got 22, 23, 24 players that are all internationals. If you go away to Livingston,
you
need to win that game.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, and Seva, I guess you understand it as well from playing over in Italy too. Like, I said this to Birch the other day when we were talking off air. It seems like Ange signed a 1-year deal, and he's trying to sell himself extra years by saying, "I need Ange players. I need Ange players." Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to. I think he's trying to play the game in that. He's definitely trying to buy himself some more time. He can feel the Wolves are coming.
Yeah.
It was inevitable. The moment he has 1 or 2 slip-ups, look, let's be honest, they see him as not saying a foreigner, because there's been a lot of foreign coaches that have coached Celtic. But I think I just think that they're going to go extra hard on him.
Yeah.
Every time he slips up, they're going to really, really ridicule him.
Look, I think it's one of those ones that at some point everyone has to kind of acknowledge everyone, press, club, fans. Okay, we've bought enough players. How many players do you want to bring in? Do you want to keep bringing in? At what point does bringing in another 3, 4, 5 players every window, when does it stop?
Yeah.
Like 7, 8, 9 have been brought in. A Croatian international, a Greek international, a Swedish international, this international. Like, are we going to be here in 2 years' time going, bringing in another 4 internationals this window because they haven't settled on the right Ange team?
Yeah.
That's at some point you got to, and I'm an Ange fan. But
is it Ange bringing these players in? It's they're Ange's players?
Yeah, of course he would be. Of course he would be. They have a scouting system, Celtic, and he's advised of players and what you can bring in and what you can't and what the budget allows. But at some point, his biggest Achilles heel is the fact that you can't finish second.
Yeah.
That's his biggest problem. He will create sides that, if given time, that will win something, whether it's a league or a cup or a this or a that. But to be leading away in Spain and then you throw it away and then, was it a loss at Livingston? or
Yeah,
a draw.
loss at Livingston.
A loss at Livingston.
So I think the issue with the fans was didn't even get a point out of the game at Livingston. So, and I know Ange has said he wants to go all out and get 3 points, but not even getting a point at Livingston. I think that's what stirred the fans up a bit too. You've come away with no points.
And it's, ultimately, he knows the game he's in. He admitted. I saw on an interview after that game. They had 80% of possession, and but they weren't, quite, ruthless enough in front of goal, to win the game. They've got to get better on that, and it is what it is. He'll be allowed a few little slip ups, but for me, Celtic can't lose to Livingston.
Yeah.
For me, with when you're allowed to bring in 7 or 8 of players that you've brought in, unless I'm mistaken, if someone can actually tell me that's not correct, but I see a lot of new players in there, and they're all internationals. And I look at the Celtic squad, and I could add in young professionals too. They have the best Scottish under 21, under 20, under 18 internationals at that club. So, you would think that with all the purchases as well, you can field an Ange team now, and the Ange team, I think from this moment on, he's had a few hiccups, but they won't allow for many more because I'm looking to Ange, and I want Ange's team from this point on to win. To challenge for titles, to play fantastic football, to score goals. There'll be the occasional hiccup, but in most cases, 95% of the time, 99% of the time, this is what you're getting. This is what you're getting because it's Ange's team now. And anything else, wanting another 4, 5, 6 players in the next window is just ridiculous.
Seven, do you think we spoke before about him trying to sell himself for years to come? Do you think now it's sort of hit home, the 1-year deal, he's trying to just extend that himself now? Is that why he's talking like that?
Yeah, but I also think he believes that he can do well with Celtic if given time, because it's not like, I'm not saying he's a coaching genius, but he can obviously go and get international players. He can buy the league. Celtic can buy the league, all right? But do they really want to spend all that money in that when or all that excess money?
Yeah.
So it's one of those ones where the club's probably thinking, okay, well, you're trying to buy yourself more time, but how much more time do you need? How much more money do you need? How many windows do you need? And it was the same thing with Steven Gerrard when he first went to Rangers. It wasn't a smooth period early on. Yeah, I remember listening to a podcast that Gerrard was on, and he went in there and he goes, "Guys, I need time. If not, I won't be here. If you're just going to just give me 3 or 4 months and then start, putting me to the sword, it's not going to work." And then look what happened. They gave him time.
Yeah. Look, and Birch said it to a T. We want Ange to succeed, and we want now there's going to be hiccups, but play good football, win some games, and get the media back on his side.
I just feel enough is enough of bringing more players in.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not happy with 22 internationals that you have in a squad, then God help us all.
Yeah.
Imagine you're an A-League coach and you've got 15 Socceroos in your side.
Yeah, you're winning the league.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at what point, I think from this point on, you've got your squad, you've got Ange players that have come in, the ones that you still have around are buying into whatever. Now it's really on Ange to make that dressing room tick, and clock up points.
Yeah. Agree.
Now, boys, before we finish off, I want to chat a little bit of Matildas, if we can. They fell short again midweek to the Republic of Ireland. I want to talk to you both about Lisa Da Vanna. She's come out this week in the media and I guess fallen flat on the way she was sort of dealt, how she was told she wasn't in. I'm going to read some quotes here for you. So Tony Gustafsson has been quoted as, "I feel we're overloaded with attacking threats, forwards, attacking mids, and I've had to leave some of them out of this roster." And Lisa Da Vanna's reply is, "Tony told me I wasn't playing with enough intensity. Jesus, does he know that's what I run on? He said I didn't track back enough. Sam Kerr never tracks back. Why should I change my game at this point in my career? What else is there to do? Beg? I'm not going to fucking beg to play for my country."
Good on her. I like that.
You know? But I'll before we get your opinion, she's also so this is pretty much in regards to how Gustafsson didn't select her and whatever else, right? But she did go on to say, "I don't think I earned the right to go to the Olympics, but at least deserve to be in the squad."
That's a kind of weird comment in itself. I don't deserve to go to the Olympics, but I deserve to be in the squad. Look, I think I'm not questioning Lisa Da Vanna's, caps for the Matildas. What she's given to this nation is fantastic and should be recognised at the highest level.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this, I know a lot of this from good sources. She backed the wrong horse. Okay.
Yeah. So she backed Stadge.
When the FA wanted Stadge out, she went into bat for Stadge.
Yeah.
Okay. And whether Stadge was, whether I believe he's the right horse, others may believe he's the wrong horse. The FA had him down as the wrong horse.
So I've got a quote here.
She backed that horse and put everything on him. And, we'll never know the entirety of it. You know what? I know. But I also know that Stadge signed a non-disclaimer agreement, or form, whatever you want to call it.
So I've got a quote.
And told he can never say anything.
Yeah, I've got a quote from Da Vanna Birch. I've got a quote from Da Vanna. "Hand on my heart, if Stadge had stayed, we would come close to winning the 2019 World Cup. Who sacks a coach 5 months out from a World Cup, then gets a coach that has no experience in the women's game?" So she's back Stadge, yeah?
Well, she's, bottom line is she backed Stadge big time. The FA or powers that be wanted Stadge out.
Yep.
He's been paid out and signed an agreement that doesn't allow him to ever talk about that.
Yep.
What that gives you the answer right there.
Yeah.
There's your answer. Something's gone down that isn't right, that the FA or the previous FA, don't want out in the light, okay, on how Stadge, was treated or how that thing went down. But, if you're getting payouts and you can't speak, it's because you're being silenced.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're being silenced for a reason. And, I just want the Matildas to be a fantastic football team, and all this crap, behind the scenes, be rid of. But it seems like they're not helping themselves. And when I see the body language of the Matildas playing the other day, it's like
it looks slack, didn't it?
It's terrible.
Seva, but they're strong words from Da Vanna, Seva. They're strong words, and I heard you say after that first quote, "Good on her."
Yeah, look, I always like someone who speaks their heart and believes in what they've said is the truth. I still think she was probably outed by the players. I think certain players that weren't backing Stadge back in the day.
Yep.
Now that it's come to a head, or when it did come to a head, and I think that she's been outed by the players personally. I think a few of those players in there that have been long-term players, and I know for a fact because I know people in the setup. I just think that Da Vanna's been outed by players, and they've blamed the coach's decision to sack her because I just think that certain players don't want her around.
Yeah, and that's
Stadge was not allowing the lunatics to run the asylum.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so
yep.
Stadge was making the decisions, and people weren't happy.
That's it.
So
Exactly right. That's what it comes down to, Birch. And he's obviously going to piss off somebody.
A coup was created.
Yeah.
Okay. He was sent to Siberia with a check and a non-disclaimer form. Yep.
Yeah.
And the Matildas, it's all rosy in the camp now. We just go on and we have a coach who I believe, unless someone can correct me, has never been to Australia since he was appointed Matilda's coach.
Well, that's what I reckon, Birch, that I think that he went on recommendation of the players to, hey, listen, look, I don't know this squad from anything. And then the girls have gone, look, gone. She was probably talking a lot about Stadge about being his previous coach. You know how it is, like in the setup when you're training every day, you don't want to hear that shit. And I just think she's been outed.
By the other girls.
I think so, yeah, by the other girls, because I know that there's a lot of personalities in there. I've heard a lot of rumors of stuff that goes on in camps and stuff, and I'm like,
she also, she's a threat to the FA.
100%.
She's a massive threat to the FA.
Make no mistake of that. She's a massive threat to the FA. You talk.
Why don't we get her on, Buttheado?
Yeah, 100%. And Lisa, you're happy to come on, and we'll do some stuff around social media. My thing is, you can't lose someone of her ilk in the women's game. She cannot be lost to the game. Yeah. At the moment, she feels frozen out. I think someone from the FA or someone that's controlling that Matildas setup has to get her, not necessarily back involved in the Matildas camp, but women's football in general. I think. Yeah.
Look, for me, Hedo, the fact that someone that's played, is it 150 times?
150 odd caps,
150 odd caps, and been a superstar of our game for the Matildas, correct?
Yes.
The fact that she's so bitter and angry about what's happened or the way that it's ended, her Matildas, career has ended. For someone to want to walk away from the game, it's just more than there's a lot more here.
There's something going on.
This is a lot grander and bigger than we're being led to believe.
Yeah.
We've all had disappointments. I spent 9 months scouting for Gus Hiddink, the chief scout for the Socceroos in the 2006 World Cup. They fly 50 people to Germany. There's a team photo in Germany the week before, with 20 players, 22 assistants, assistant cameraman, assistant analyst, assistant this, assistant third choice, assistant physio, and your chief scout that did all the homework, that gave a dossier to Gus Hiddink so you could just turn up to the stadium and follow that and win a match and go to a World Cup. You leave him back home.
Yeah.
So, Birch, you can understand where she's coming from, eh?
Yeah, but you think that didn't hurt me? That hurt me as well, but it didn't hurt me that much that I wanted to walk away completely from, if someone at Sydney FC or the Wanderers or Victoria said, come and be assistant manager or come and do this or come and say, man, I'm in.
Yeah.
So it's just, there has to be more, and there is more.
There is always more.
I know
he hasn't been silenced.
People in Australian football know a lot more about, what's happened within the Matildas.
Yeah, and we'll ask Lisa to come on and set the record straight on her part. But
I'm happy to have FA people on here.
Yeah, and FA people.
I think at the end of the day, Australian fans, Matildas fans, Socceroo fans, football fans in this country deserve to know, what's happening. If they're going to put, their hands in their pocket, to support, our national teams, to give their heart and souls to our national teams, let's not lie to them.
100%, Birch. And they've just been confirmed, Seva, they've just been confirmed, look like they're going to play a home game at Combank Stadium, which is former Bank West, on the 23rd of October and 26th of October. It's been confirmed today. But while we're recording this podcast on a Sunday, more details will be out earlier in the week on tickets and if you got to be vaccinated, all that sort of stuff, right? So we want people to go to watch the Matildas. There's a World Cup coming up too, so let's get on board.
Why was it the other day that some of the Matildas that went to the Olympic Games were not playing against Ireland? Were they just registered or were they just rested or they weren't given permission by their club to play?
It's a great question, Birch, and I'm not sure about that. I know there was a couple of injuries, but Ellie Carpenter did play in the French League during the week. So, mate, not real sure.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a workload
that
too
was a
from
strange one.
Olympics.
She wasn't there, and there wasn't much noise about why she wasn't there. I think she
Yeah.
should be our captain, personally.
Let's hope it's workload, hey, Seva, and not just.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ellie Carpenter should be our captain.
Oh, mate, if you Hedo,
Yeah.
I think so too, mate. I think
100%.
I think
Yeah,
we got
you
the wrong
agree.
captain there.
Yeah, she absolutely. She puts heart and soul in. Now, boys,
Yeah.
before we finish off, my team, Liverpool, and my second team, Brentford. How's my mate Brent Ford going? Is he still? Did he hear us last week, Birch?
Oh, mate, he heard you. He's buzzing. He's still buzzing. They got a 3-3, didn't they?
Yeah, 3-3. Fair income.
Yes,
Brent
Liverpool.
Ford would have been on. Oh, fair income. Come on, mate.
Mate, I'm going to get him to tweet you.
Can ya?
Yeah, I'll get him to tweet you, mate. You can be best buddies.
So we are now, and especially, he's a Brentford fan. And anyway, they got 3-3, but Liverpool top of the league. Man City beat Chelsea 1-0, and Man U fall to Villa with a missed pen in the 87th minute. The Fernandez. Well, I'm not sure it's come down yet, Seva.
Hey, what's all this talk about Solskjaer possibly going? Is it true?
Well, Birch, you and I spoke on the phone quickly the other day. Look, the drums are beating. Seva, he come out during the week and blamed Jurgen Klopp for them not getting a penalty. So Jurgen's in his head somehow already. He said, some certain manager in the Premier League is saying United get too many penalties and all this sort of stuff. I just feel he's under a lot of pressure to perform now. Ronaldo's there. We spoke about it last week. Rio Ferdinand's into him already as a pundit.
All that.
Gary Neville's had a crack at him. I think he's feeling the pressure.
Hey, these guys don't hold back, as ex-teammates and run things together.
You know what? They shouldn't hold back. When you're spending hundreds of millions of pounds on a football team, and a football team that's expected to deliver, no, you shouldn't hold back. Solskjaer has been allowed to bring in people and have a squad that, I don't think I'm wrong when I'd say it's one of the top 10 teams in Europe.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I reckon top 5. They're a great team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For European honours. So of course, people are going to question losing at home to Aston Villa. Correct?
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to be questioned. And guess what? You shouldn't be losing. If you do lose to them, then at some point you're going to have to walk.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get sacked.
And it was always also too, Birch, the scare of last week when Noble came on and took the penalty. Am I right there?
Yeah, so they got out of jail just.
Yeah.
Week. Yeah, they got out of jail with the Gayers save.
And they lost in the Champions League, boys. There's the thing, and then they got knocked out of the League Cup too. We said last week, he needs a trophy to survive. I think I'm still on that. He needs a trophy.
You know what? If it keeps going the way it's going,
he might not get the chance.
It won't get to that point where a trophy's required. He'll be gone before they even have a chance of winning a trophy.
He won't get to March.
No.
Yeah. Might not even make Christmas at this time.
And you look at, who knows, what is said in the change room or what is said on the pitch sometimes. I feel, greater players than myself and Seva have missed penalties, and the greats miss penalties. Fernandez missed a penalty, so what?
It is, that's right.
It is what it is. It's still in orbit. I feel, though, that... maybe that was a moment for Ronaldo. Did he not slip up? Did Fernandez say, "I've got it"? Did Fernandez, as captain of Man United, not say to the captain of Portugal, out of respect, "You take it"?
Yeah,
I don't get that, Birch.
For me, I'm Fernandez, and I go, Ronnie.
It's yours.
Let's be honest.
It's yours.
Ronaldo is being spoken about as the best player ever lived. Correct?
One of
probably the best high pressure situation player ever lived. Because let's be honest, he's won so much things.
Yeah.
How does Fernandez, who Fernandez probably will never be spoken about winning the Ballon d'Or? How does he just not say, "Hey, look, this is yours, mate. This is set. It's set for you."
You know, and how do those dynamics? How do those things, work within the dressing room? I mean, yesterday after the match, does someone say, "Why didn't you take it, Cristiano?"
Yeah.
Does Bruno
Surely
say,
someone would have.
Does Bruno say, "I told him I was having it"?
Yeah, and look, you can. I think on Fernandez, I'll give Fernandez his credit too. If he's gone, no, this is mine.
Look, he's captain of Man United, and he's
Although he's missed,
boys, first 8 minutes of the game, there was a free kick situation. I'm not sure if you guys watched it. Fernandez, perfect situation for a right footer, top corner, whatever. Put the ball down. There was a bit of chatter. Fernandez took it, hit the wall, went straight out. Like,
okay,
that's Ronaldo territory.
Yeah, and that's it points in the direction of Fernandez trying to stamp his authority. Yeah.
Let's just see next game if Ronaldo goes, "Hey, fuck off this one, mate. This is mine."
I just think as good as Fernandez is, mate.
You got to know your role.
Exactly. You want to bring a real good CV, and he has got a good CV. But man, we're talking Cristiano Ronaldo. And you're telling him that you're going to take all the free kicks and the penalties.
Yeah. Sorry.
And he's going to sit in line. No, mate. He could be smart. He could be smarter.
Well, boys, I think this. To be fair, I think this is going to be a talking point for weeks to come, and Man United will be a talking point, and we're happy to talk about it. Now, boys, again, thank you for today. It's been a pleasure. We've got a lot off our chest, but again, this podcast can't happen with our good friends at Mate. Choose a provider you can trust like a mate. Visit letsbemates.com.au for all your internet and mobile needs. And it also can't happen without DS Tipping and Excavation. Sever, I know you're busy. I said it last week. Good to be busy in lockdown, mate. So Thank you for supporting our show as well.
No worries, mate.
MG Active. Look how fit this shirt This shirt used to be too small. Look at it. Look how fit I am. I'm on fire. So MG and Logs, they're on Zoom. They can't wait to get back into the gym. So boys, thank you for keeping on board. And MG, it's been 30 years since Penrith have won. So let's see next week. Hopefully we're on. Ignify Legal, Ian and the team at Ignify Legal. Thanks, Ian. Thanks for supporting us. We really appreciate it. And Monster Clothing, who have just come on board. The place to go for some great quality casual clothing based around some epic builds. So Sever's got the shirt on there, some stuff we got sent. So Monster and the team, thank you very much.
I'll be sending it all your way, boys. It's come in this week.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. And every week we say it, but fair dinkum, we're getting better and better. He's not having to do as much. Jeff from Sensor Studios. Soon, we're getting better and better, aren't we, Sever, from when we first started?
Yep. Also, too, guys, go out and buy Andy Burnell's autobiography, Riding Shotgun.
Riding Shotgun.
It's the greatest lockdown read you'll ever read.
He's even doing his own quotes now, Birch. How good are you going?
I know, mate. I know. It's. I'm not stopping either. We're. Told you, we're not here to take part, brother.
We're kicking goals. So if you need any live streaming or any similar to this, you want a podcast, go and see Sensor Studios. Jeff, thank you very much again. So, boys, thank you for this week, and we'll catch up again next week. Stay off everything. Well done.
See you, boys.
See you guys.